All right, they should be joining us. Welcome, guys. We're happy to have you with us. So, yep, we've already got a YouTube video there. So, just a quick intro. I'm Melissa, for those of you who don't know me. I'm going to monitor the chat box for Denise today, grab the videos, that kind of thing. We're kind of going to go through things as they're submitted. So, we'll go through, Denise will watch a video, then she'll critique the video. There'll be some questions about the video if anybody has any. Then we'll move on to the next one. We are going to limit it at a minute each video. So, if we get to the 1 minute mark and there's more, then stop watching. And if there's something in the first 20 seconds or so that Denise feels she'd rather talk about, we're just going to go with that. So we're going to get through as many of them as possible. And with that, Denise, I'm going to hand things over to you, and I'm going to pull up the first video if you're ready for it.
No, that sounds good. I'm ready to go. I see lots of videos showing up, so I'll tell you that we're going to do as many as we can, but we're not going to get through all the videos. But we'll see what we can do. I'll pull the, look, there's even links. Melissa, did you see that? I think I can just click a link. We'll find out since there's no presentation.
It opens it in another window.
All right. So I'm going to look in general. Yeah. So I think what I'll try is playing a video and we'll just watch it. And at some point when I decide I have things I want to talk about, I'll start talking about it. So let's take a look. This one is Olive with her Great Dane Lily. That was very nice.
Yes.
I stopped it. Beautiful.
Very good. Very good girl. Super good. Very nice. Super good. Very good girl. Super good girl. Get it? Super good girl.
Excellent. That's really pretty, Ala. So the first thing I want to say is I'd like to see you doing a lot more precision work to the left. So right turns, straight lines, about turns, those are all going to bring the butt out. And your dog's a really big girl, so you will spend her entire lifetime fighting that issue. You're always going to want to get her butt in. So a couple things. I would really minimize straight lines with all young dogs. I almost do none of them. So I might do serpentines, but if you're going to go to the right, which is motivational, which I like, then I need you to balance that out by doing more work to the left. So you have a fantastic, what I call inside about turn, which is left turns in place. It's beautiful. I want you to do more of that. So every time you do a big, comfortable, arcing right type circle, I want you to end that circle by saying in, pulling her rear end in, and then I want you to be thinking a little bit more about food placement so her head is not wrapped around and facing you. I want her head more upright right here and rewarding her head up. So I'm going to look at it one more time and we're going to talk about that specifically. Let's see how I do this. Okay, so let's watch again. Oh, I have to, there we go. I think I have to.
You probably have to drag the little ball back to the left-hand side of the timeline.
I see the problem. It's on my computer. I have to turn something off.
Do you want me to restart it?
No. My voice recognition software turned back on, and it's trying to control the video. So I have to stop talking for 5 seconds, wait till the thing stops spinning, shut it down, and then we're going to be all right.
Okay.
It's locking up my computer. That was an error.
All right, guys. Thanks for bearing with us. This is the fun part of testing new software and why we're doing this for free.
I'm going to,
I got, let's see,
I'm going to try force quit.
4 videos. Here, okay, Denise.
It's not showing up in my, I can't force quit. It's not showing up in my applications. I'm going to try to play it. I think this is going to cause problems for us. Let's look again. I love how she brings the dog into position. Now, the rear is almost but not quite in right there. So did you see how the dog's front feet are not in line with the back feet there? Right there is why I would not make a straight line, because if it does, what happens, you are reinforcing the dog for its butt out by allowing it to continue forward. Instead, I would have pivoted 180 degrees to the left and gone back the other direction. That would have helped the rear end. Right there. Okay, so when you paused, just so we should know, it brings it back 2 seconds. Ella was going to go ahead and make a right turn rather than another left turn. So that's 2 reinforcers for poor position. The butt was out to start. She went in a straight line. That's the first one. The second one is making a right turn. That would have been a place to make a left turn. So can you see how you're reinforcing the butt being out and it's out there? This is awesome. What you did here, that's what she needs to see more. Yes, beautiful. Now you can go in a straight line when the rear end looks like that. I love that you're backing her up. That's gorgeous that she keeps her rear end like that, which is actually unusual. So that's really quite a skill. Anytime the head drops, the ticket is a left pivot in place. It'll bring the head up. Right turns tend to drop the head because she's big. Yeah. Right there. If you continue forward after a head drops, you're reinforcing it. Instead, do a precision move. Precision moves are always to the left and work the rear. Drive building is usually going forward. All right, let's look at the next video. That was great. I still can't turn off my software. I'm sorry. Okay.
The next one is from Chanda.
Okay, let's see what she has.
Is here. Video. All right, I'll let you take it from there.
There you go. Good. Right off the bat, I want you to look at your left shoulder. Do you see how much talking you're doing with your left shoulder? Your left shoulder is how you tell her where you want her to be. I want you to think about keeping your shoulders nice and straight over your feet. Do you feel how you're leaning down over the top of her? That's something I want you to watch for. Another thing I want you to think about, she's got great attention to you. What a good girl. You're doing a nice job. A little bit slower in those pivots. She likes her ball. That's a good choice. I want you to focus on your body, your mechanics. Make sure your shoulders are upright. You can always look just down and slightly to the left, and you should be able to see her because she's a big dog, no problem. But do you see that? Do you see how your left shoulder is sloping compared to your right shoulder? That's going to cause you grief because every time you try to straighten up your body, she's going to say, well, that looks funny. So what's going to happen is her rear end is going to come out rather than staying tucked in. The next thing I want you to really focus on is how you're giving her the cookies. I want you to think about how we reward for position. If you reward her from your right hand, she is going to either consciously or unconsciously start wrapping around the front of your body. So what I want you to do is feed with your left hand straight down. So your hand should be really close to your body, run straight down your body. Sure, her nose isn't that big, so I would say no more than this far away from the side of your body, about 5 inches. And then I want the cookie to go in her mouth on the outside of her head, not in the front and not on the right-hand side. And the reason is it will cause her head to go straight up rather than turning. If you feed her out of your right hand down low, you're going to create a wrap. So let's take another look at this one, just for that. It's not allowing me to play. I don't know why it's not letting me replay this video. Oh, I think it's my voice recognition.
So I just hit play and now it's working. So here, I'll restart it for you and I'll hit play. And now it's running.
So what we're looking for is hand position when you reward your dog. Right there. Watch what's happening. Do you see how you're pulling her sideways across your body? You're also reinforcing her rear end out. right there. Can you see how you're teaching her to drop her head? So those are the two things I want you to focus on. The first one is rewarding the way Ala did in the first video. Really get that head up and slightly in. And the second thing I want you to think about is your left shoulder. But you've got some really nice components here. Very good. All right, let's look at another video.
All right, I think we had one question come in while you were playing the first one. If you wanted to answer that before we
For sure.
I will toss it up on the screen here. Close this. Go to Q&A mode. I think that's right. And then we had asked, how do you see that through, Audrey? What were you looking to see through?
How do you see that though?
See the dog's rear without mirrors. Oh, the dog's rear without mirrors. She's trying to figure out. You're talking about the back feet weren't lined up with the front. So she's asking about. How do you see that if you don't have a mirror? How do you tell?
If you aren't sure if your dog is straight, your dog's not straight. How's that for an answer, right? You know when your dog is straight because you can tell in alignment from front to back. There's no way the dog can be crooked. You'll feel that in. I think if you set up a mirror and look at your dog out of position and in position, you'll know it right away. I can look down at the front of my dog because as soon as I see the head wrapped around this way, almost guaranteed the butt is out. Because it's uncomfortable for the dog to wrap this way and have the butt in. When the head comes straight up, it's very unusual for the rear end to be out. So you're going to learn to see it, especially big dog like that. We can ask Ala, but I'd be surprised if she didn't know that her dog's rear end was out. But my personal thing is, if I look at my dog and I'm not sure, it is guaranteed the butt is out. So that's what I would use as my parameter. I think that will help you.
Excellent. Let me grab your next video here. Next one's from Sarah Owen. There's that. Do you want me to hit play so that your audio software doesn't funky things?
I think I can do that. It's when I talk when the video's running that I'm causing problems.
Okay.
Nice rear end awareness. Very pretty. Really nice. Very pretty. Very pretty precision work here. Hold on, I'm going to look at something again. Right there, that's what I wanted to see. Okay. So this is really, really nice, Sarah. It's very pretty. I'd like you to speed up a little bit and I'd make those cones. I mean, I understand they're AKC distance apart, but he's such a big dog. Most of the time I would do more flow. So if you're working to the right, and this is working to the right when you're going around cones, the fun direction, I would open that up and make it more of a game. To the left, your puppy has lovely rear end awareness. Puppy, I know he's not. Really pretty, and you're using it very well. But I would speed up because your stride is very short, and you have a big dog. So I would try to get more of a normal, quicker flow with this dog because he's so big. If he was smaller, maybe not. What I was looking for at this very end is whether or not you walked into your dog. So I want you to really think about when you change direction, never, ever, ever sidestepping into your dog. So watch it very carefully with me and you're going to see it. I'm going to say I will say there when it happens. This is nice. You're trying in, right there. Did you feel that little slight pull into your dog? That's problematic. Really watch that because it causes dogs to go wide because you step on their feet. Otherwise, fantastic session. You did a nice job there. All right, who's next?
Let me check and make sure we don't have any questions first. Sorry, I'm trying to copy over the YouTube links too.
That's fine.
I
just want to cry that I can't turn off this voice recognition because I know it's causing problems for me.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sarah said, I was wondering why he went wide and lagged. Thanks, Denise. All right. So our next one is from Jen Bennett. Go ahead and close this and pull up the next one.
Sarah, before I start this one, there's one other thing I want to say to you. I want you to get your rate of reinforcement down. I didn't count exactly, but I think that was 4 or 5 reinforcers in a slightly over 1 minute video. That's excessive. Your dog is trained. So if your dog can do that much healing, you should be doing things instead of cookies to motivate at this point. You should be doing high hand touches. You should be doing spins. You should be breaking out of healing. Otherwise, what you're doing is you're relying on the food to get the work. And that's fine in the short run when you're actually, if you can say to me, I gave the dog a cookie because that was a straight sit. If I gave the dog a cookie because he struggles with rear end awareness and he gave it to me, then that's fine. But you were sort of rewarding lots of things. So then the question I'd ask is, if you have problems with any one of those things, why is it in a chain? And if it's in a chain, why do you feel the need to keep rewarding all those pieces? Get going, right? Just move on. You don't need all that food. Because if you keep doing that, you're going to make your dog insecure when you start pulling, forget the dog, you're going to make yourself insecure when you try to pull back the food. So I also want you to really be thinking about your rate of reinforcement. It's time to drop it. When you say, okay, I worked for a minute, he got 1 cookie, I thought his left turn sucked, pull out those left turns, pull out those cookies, work left turns, cookie, 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 cookie. But once you get to moving, it's the flow, it's the healing, it's the movement that should inspire the dog. And if you keep stopping to feed, you're not going to get that. Okay, let's take a look at what Jen has. So this looks like shout. I would like to know if this is a trial or a match or what.
Normal. Left turn. Halt.
There you go. Beautiful sit.
Pull your dog. Jump straight. Forward. Left turn.
That was lovely handling there when you kind of lost him.
Normal. About turn.
Jen, can you tell me if this is you're hanging out with a friend and she's running you through, or what's the setup here?
She says, yes, trial. It's a CWAGS level 1, so pretty basic.
All right. So you were just moving along. So I think you know the big issue, right? Your dog enthusiastic, which is awesome, but you need a lot more work to the left. So forget straight lines. You're not ready for straight lines. Everything should be left pivot, halt. Left pivot, straight 2 steps, left pivot, halt. Left pivot, 5 steps, left pivot, forward, halt. So until your dog can do 1 step, don't go forward. And then it's 2 steps and 3 steps. And in your dog's case, because the problem is the rear end swings out wide, everything should be reminding your dog, in. We are going to get your butt in, right? That's going to be huge. I do very, very little straight line healing with my young dogs because I think straight lines are super, super hard because I'm asking the dog to pull their rear end in, even when their head is up and even when they want to look at me. So it's a really hard skill. Working to the left keeps your dog's butt in. So that's probably what I would focus on with your youngster. So now to add to the fact that I have voice recognition problems, I have a fly. I can solve that fly problem. Oh, you know what, guys? I got to do it. Hold on, I'll be right back.
She's going to go get her fly zapper for those of you who are not in the know.
All right. If the fly comes back, I will shoot it. Because that is going to
Do you
make
want your
me.
next video?
Oh, yes. Just be aware. Just in case. All right, we're good.
All right. So after Jen, now we have Sarah. Sarah ends. Let me pull up her video here. And guys, I apologize in advance if I slaughter somebody's last name. Name pronunciations are not my my best skill.
Let's see what we have.
But this is Sarah.
Beautiful. Beautiful start. Look at that. Slow down that to the right.
There you go. Yeah, good job.
Oh, look at that beautiful rear end awareness. The dog pulled in when she slowed down. Gorgeous.
Good job. Get it?
So throwing food is fine as long as the dog's head doesn't start to drop. Yeah.
Get it?
Okay, do you see how his head is a little bit lower? Hold on. Watch for this. Notice his head is just a tiny bit lower than his beautiful, right? We want beautiful. Then I'll talk about that. Don't misunderstand. He's a beautiful worker, but he could be more pretty with his head all the way up. That's pretty. See? Do you see how nice and high that head was? That's gorgeous.
Good job. Get it?
Beautiful. Look at you.
Yes.
And look how nicely he keeps his little butt in. You have done such a good job.
Now you like to squish. Hey, get it? Yes.
Okay. Really, really good. You have such a nice base here. Before you throw a cookie forward every single time, hand touch, pocket hand position, about 4 inches above his head. So what he does is heel, 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 touch, head up, pop touches your hand, then throw your cookie forward. Don't throw a cookie forward out of heeling because it's causing his head to come down more than is pretty. So always hand touch up and then reinforce that with a cookie. And then the second thing is when you go back and forth on straight lines, be kind of careful when you make your turn. Let's see if we can find one here. Be a little bit careful that you go back on the same line or literally pull to the right. So if you pull to the right each time, what you're doing is saying, yeah, that beautiful rear end awareness, let's keep it up. Otherwise, you're going to start getting wide on your about turns. You don't have it yet, but it's something I want you to be aware of. I'm going to play it again, and I want you to notice that you're not coming back exactly at the same place on the way out. So let's start it around here. That should be enough. So let's look at your line on the ground. Well, that one, we'll just wait. Did you see that? Did you see how you went back to the left slightly in his direction? I want you to always be thinking about when you come back, you should be slightly to the right. You should be pulling him into position if he is on your left side. But you have beautiful work. So the big thing for you, hand touch up and then throw your cookies forward. And what you'll start to notice is that the head comes up. You can also start removing pocket hand help unless you need it. And looks like you don't most of the time. So that's very good. Let's go to the next one.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. The next one is from Leska. Just going to pull hers up.
Oh, a big old bear. I'll watch the first minute. Let's take a look at what we have. Well, right off the bat, that hand makes me laugh. I totally understand it. It's because of IPO. IPO, you put the hand on the outside of the dog's head, and the dog is so big that that means her hand's going to kind of flop around out there. I don't know what I think. I don't know what the judge is going to think of that. Oh, look at that beautiful rear end awareness. That was fantastic for such a big dog. And look at he's smiling and drooling. But that's what they do, right? Oh, look at you go. Excellent. Excellent. Beautiful. Do you see him starting to go wide there? Okay, so whenever you see that little bit of a drift to the right, I want you to drift to the right because he's drifting slightly out when you go in a straight line. Man, you're going to have a tired arm. That's all I can say.
Yes. 'Cause you got it. 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 Yes
That's gorgeous. You've done such a nice job with him. You've come a long way since I saw you in Oregon. Beautiful. Now for him, because I know you have issues with endurance, you might also want to practice doing some jogging work. So jog, 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 hand touch, throw the cookies forward just to get more movement, or sending them around cones. If nothing else, just for the endurance aspect. You see in the background, you have those two uprights, that thing, whatever the goalposts. Send them around one of those goalposts. Start at, 2 feet, 3 feet, 5 feet, 10 feet. But when you can get to the point where you can send him 20, 30, 50 feet, then you turn, he runs back to you, catches up, hand touch, give him a cookie. That'll do wonders for his endurance. Because there's two different issues. One is the amount of time he has to heal, and the other is just the sheer physical effort of healing. He's a big guy. It's hard work. So I want you to get more fly into there just so that you can build your endurance that way. Beautiful work. You're doing a really nice job. All right, let's see my next one.
All right, the next one is, I think it's Cindy, and I'm not 100% sure I'm pronouncing her name correctly, so I apologize. Let's take it.
Notice your shoulder back. Do you feel that? It's causing your dog to lag. Yeah, whenever you have a dog who might lag, you really want to be thinking about making sure your shoulder is leading the way. Can you see that? Look at that shoulder. Get that shoulder up. Up, 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 up. You're better on the left. There you go. There you go. Let's watch it one more time. So get that shoulder forward. It's giving me grief there. Now notice your feeding position. Do you see how it's behind heel position? Watch, watch. Do you see how you're pushing him back with your feeding? Whenever you have a dog that's at all laggy, I want you to actually start feeding in front of your thigh. Slightly in front of your thigh, much closer to your body, right? You're a little bit better on that side. You're doing a great job of feeding on the outside of the head. So that part's really good. But that reaching back is killing you in two ways. One, when you reach back, your shoulder goes backwards. And the second thing is your dog is lagging, and you're actually reinforcing lagging. So you can see right here in the stop position. So what I want you to think about, feed very close to your body. And when most people, I'm going to tell them to run down the seam of their pants. You can see your seam. I don't know. Can you see my cursor on the screen right here? Melissa, do you see that? Does that show up?
No, I don't.
Okay. So you're going to feed, most people are going to feed down their seam. You are going to feed in front of your thigh, super, super close, right? You're going to literally 1 inch down the front of your thigh to get his head up. And I want you to look where you're going. See, if you're making a right turn and you're looking back at your dog, you're causing your life to be more complicated. If we look at this frozen piece right here, you should actually be looking at your left foot. And the reason you should be looking at your left foot is you are turning left. Your eyes always show your dog the path. Looking at your body language right here, you should be about to make a pivot into your dog, and yet you're not. So that's something I want you to be thinking about. Really work on your own body mechanics, and then keep feeding your dog in the correct position. And if that's all you did, if you did no other training except offering food in the right space right in front of your thigh, and looked where you go, your dog's healing will improve dramatically in a matter of days. It won't give you refinement, but it'll get your dog into a better position, and then you can start spending some time on refinements. All right, let's see who's next.
So Denise, you can draw on the videos, just FYI, if you wanted to.
How do I do that? Do I have a pen?
So at the bottom of the screen next to the close button,
yeah.
It shows your little pointer. If you click on that, you can change it to draw, and then you draw on the video.
All right. So with this angle, you should be turning that way. Aha, I like it. So, but the dog's body language tells me you should be going that way. Can you see how you and the dog are having very different conversations? So that's going to help you. Okay, I've got a toy. Now I'm happy. Okay, next video.
Okay, I'm going to delete the marks first. The next video is Dale. Let me pull up Dale's video here. And guys, just so you know, we do have a survey to ask you all this stuff about, because we're getting some feedback on video quality and audio quality and stuff. We do have a survey at the end to ask you about all of that. So
also let us know, because I noticed these choppy notes are coming from when we first started. So if it's continuing, let us know that it's continuing, because I noticed Melissa was choppy in the beginning and she's fine now. So I'm not sure what that's about. So let's take a look. Gorgeous. Beautiful. Nice rear end awareness. Nice left pivot. This is fantastic. Look at that. That was perfect. I have nothing to add. You can teach it. Let's see the next one. That was beautiful, Dale. There's nothing I would add. Just make sure you're having some fun, right? Sending on fly and doing some fun stuff. But when it comes to precision work, that's as good as it gets. Very nice.
excellent. The next one's from Audrey. Let me close this. Okay, I hit YouTube and it's doing something funky on me, so give me half a second. I don't know if you can still hear me, Denise, but I think it's locked on my end, and I'm not sure why.
I can hear you. So let me try.
Okay, well, my computer's doing something strange.
So which one is next? That was Leska, Chanda,
The next
Audrey.
one would be Audrey. Yeah.
But that one shows a photo. It says photo, not YouTube. So that's the
right.
issue.
She shared a YouTube link further down. She shared no, I have a YouTube link for her.
Okay.
She shared it when I asked her to. But you can use Shona's next if you want to grab the next YouTube link, and I'll go refresh my thing and figure out why it's being funky.
Unfortunate. Oh, I see. So it's going to open up in a new box, copy, close. Come over here.
Yeah, you have to click the share link too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to close my, so you'll lose me for a second. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Something didn't work with that video, so I think we have to go YouTube. Click. Paste.
All right, I'm back. Did you get it?
Yeah, but I'm putting the link for Shona's in the search, and it's and then I press enter or return, and nothing is happening. It's saying no videos. Let me just try a different link and see if it's somehow the link.
Well, let me pull up. This is Audrey's. If you just want to go ahead, and I'll pull up the next one when we're ready for it.
Okay.
Good boy. Good boy. Good boy.
So this is like a modified chin rest, I think. I'm curious if this is pocket hand. The reason I'm curious is if it is pocket hand, your fingers should always be on the outside of the dog's head and never in front of the chin. And the reason is, do you see how when you stopped, let me see if I can back up a bit here. Right there, do you see how the dog's head is coming backwards because your hand is actually preventing forward movement? In pocket hand, it should be a dog's choice. The dog could leave easily, could just walk right over the top of your hand position, but won't because your hand is on the side of their head and is targeting them. So instead of being here, it should be here on the side with your hand straight down. I would work on that first so that your dog is reaching for your hand rather than pushing into your hand. But it's also possible you're doing Kamal's method, which is a little bit different. So it kind of depends. Even with Kamal's method, I don't think your hand would be under the chin. but we would have to check with him on that one. So that would be the first thing I would change. And the second thing is, if you're doing my method, which is pocket hand, I would not have my hand on the dog's head continuously. To the left, the dog should be doing pivots. That's what requires rear end awareness. If you do left circles, which I consider to be probably the most advanced healing skill, then the dog is not pivoting at all. The dog is walking with you and following, and the pivots are actually extremely small. So maybe clarify that. If you're doing his method, I don't think I can help because I'm not sure how he would handle this. I would be doing left pivots in place and working rear end awareness. All right,
Yes.
who's next?
So an outside, I think that's for clarification.
Okay, then that should be like this. What you're doing is this. If it's this, then the dog should be able to go right over the top. And at this point, it's not. So I want you to think about tweaking your hand position so that your fingers are pointing to the ground and parallel to your leg. If they are perpendicular to your leg, then you're going to run into some issues.
All right, let me close that one. And the next one is Shona's. And it pulled up for me, so.
Okay, let's take a look. Beautiful. The dog is a tiny bit wide. Slow down, slow down. You're moving so fast that the dog doesn't have time to think. But the position is very nice. That's very pretty. Your handling is beautiful. Look at those nice straight shoulders. Wow. Those of you who I've said, you know, watch your shoulders, look at this video. Look at her handling. Really, really good. Really good. And the dog follows her handling nicely.
You're so cute.
The dog is cute.
Yeah. Nice.
That's beautiful. That was really pretty. I love the rear end awareness you've got on this dog, and I love your handling. I think that's huge strengths. Now, a couple things I would suggest. If you're going to work on leash, that's fine, but make sure the leash is long enough that if your dog loses position, it's your recognition that he lost position that causes you to change things, not him tightening the leash. Not because I care that much that he tightened the leash, it didn't matter. But what it'll do, it will mask for you what is or is not working in your healing, and then when the leash is gone, it's kind of confusing and surprising when the dog hits the end of the leash. So either work off leash, which is the easy answer, or if that's not safe, be paying attention in such a way that if the dog starts to lag, you can relax the leash, turn and face the dog. What you doing? Get the dog back, pivot in a spot, restart, rather than allowing the dog, because if the dog checks out or does something you don't like, you really don't want to keep walking forward. So what I tell people is, if I was looking at this video and the dog made an error, if I'm only watching the person, if I cannot see the dog because the video is cropped from the waist down, I should know instantly that there was an error based on the handler's reaction, which should be, oh, what happened? Turn and face the dog. Do you want to do this? You do? Are you sure? I don't know. Or you could talk me into it. Okay, let's try it again and start over. So don't be continuous and smooth when an error has taken place, because by definition, if you continue moving forward, you are telling the dog that you are pleased with their behavior and that everything is okay. All right, I'm not sure if Melissa is here right now because I don't see her. Oh, you are. You just went away. Okay, so let me try doing the next video and see if I can. So who should I grab? I see, does it matter?
So the problem with having you do the videos is that some of them aren't in the right format, so I had to go convert them to the right format, and I've already done that for all of the links.
That's fine. Okay. We should have me try one out.
Link and you could use it.
I see one for Vague Coltros, just so I can make sure that it's working. Do you see that one? It's an HTTPS.
Do you still have Messenger open? Facebook Messenger open in the background?
Yes. You're going to put it over there for me?
And you can paste it.
That's fine.
Yep.
All right.
That way you don't have to find the link and copy it over and all that stuff.
Okay.
So if you copy that link, it should work when you put it into the system.
Okay, I see it.
It doesn't work if I use the link from the URL bar on YouTube. You have to click the share button and copy that link, which is why probably what happened with the last one.
Oh, so what I'm about to do might not work. So let's find out.
What you're doing should work, because if I just copied it for you, it should work.
Because you did the share already? You're right. No, see, nothing's here for me. All right, I'm going to take a screenshot so you can see what I see, and then we'll talk about it later.
Okay, that sounds good. I'll pull it up in the meantime.
All right. All right, it's there. And you can set me up.
This is Jenna Lee.
Let's take a look. Slow down that pivot. Slow it down. Slow down. Okay. So you have some good things. You have the rear end awareness. It's not exactly in heel position. I would suggest you just ditch the clicker here. Once you're doing chains, this is a chain. Ask yourself what you're clicking for. So if I go back, I'm going to do that. I'm going to want you to think about this. Why did you choose the moment you chose to click? Because a clicker is a scalpel. It pulls a moment in time. So you got a left turn. Nice. Just slow down. Okay, so you clicked when the dog's butt was out. I'm not sure what you were clicking. And that is the question you should ask yourself. A clicker is a scalpel. You are trying to do one of two things. You are either trying to shape a brand new behavior, and then you are clicking the dog. Yes, right there, right that thing you just did. I want to see more of that. The second thing you might use a clicker for is to reinforce a known thing. Yes, what you did there, that is the thing I wanted. If you are in a chain, then there needs to be a reason. You need to ask yourself, how was this fraction of a second different than the one before? I will click it. Otherwise, I'm not sure I see the benefit, especially if you continue to walk, which you did. So you clicked and you continued to work, and then you fed a couple seconds later, so that it really does become, what are you trying to focus the dog on? So that's what I would be thinking about if I was you. Slow down that left pivot. I would actually break this down into pieces. I would work your left turn, click all you want, reward the pieces you're happy with. Right turn, work on that. I would work on individual pieces instead of stringing it all together at this point, and then run it together when your dog is more sure about what piece is earning reinforcement. All right.
The next one is from Kathleen Robinson. Go ahead and pull it up here. Can you see the chat box, Denise?
I can, yes.
Okay. I just wasn't sure, because sometimes some of the people are like responding to your feedback, and I wasn't sure if you could see it or not.
I am, but I'm not reading it, so I'm not actually seeing what they're saying. This is beautiful. Look at that. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Look at the handling. Look at those nice, beautiful, straight shoulders. Good. The handling is lovely. The dog's position is quite good. The only thing I think is missing here is a little bit of animation on the part of the dog. I don't get the feeling that heeling is this dog's favorite thing to do. So what I would be looking at is adding more activities to make it more engaging for the dog. So maybe left spins, or high hand touches, or racing the dog, you know, running out of the cones to get a little inspiration. Or sending the dog around cones and then starting heeling. But your actual position is very good. your handling is very good. Your body position is very good. I would just like to see a little bit more inspiration. The other thing you might want to think about is just because the formal exercise is back and forth around the pylons doesn't mean you need to train that way. So you could just go around the right pylon several times if it inspires your dog, just to give it more interest. Then you could start heading over to the other pylon, but you don't have to go to the left around it. You could go to the right around that one too. And again, it makes it more interesting for your dog. But you're doing some lovely work here. All right, let's see which one is next.
Sally Myers is next.
Let's see what Sally has.
Ready? Reseal.
Again, beautiful handling. Look at those beautiful shoulders. Nice work on the part of the dog. This is gorgeous. I would say that was pretty much perfect. Some people would want that dog's heel position to be back a tiny bit. It's a long-bodied dog. Personally, I probably wouldn't fuss about it. I would be very surprised if a judge hit it in the ring. But if you felt that you wanted the dog to be back slightly, what you'll want to do when you reinforce is make sure you reinforce straight down your pant seam so that the dog's nose, at first they're going to go like this. They're going to have to kind of bend their head back at an awkward angle to get the cookie that you're going to run down your pant seam. And eventually the dog says, that's kind of a lot of work. The other thing is if you are carrying reinforcers, pass them behind your back from your right hand to your left hand to reinforce. That will help, because if the dog thinks it's going to come around from the front, then they are more likely to forge in anticipation of getting the cookie. But otherwise, I think that's super nice work.
She asked specifically, she said forged sits.
All right, well, there it is. It's going to be a matter of beating position. That's what I would do. You can also do games like teach the dog to wrap backwards around you, or like what I had somebody doing in a private lesson. I would have the dog heel on the left, and the dog was taught a cue to pass to the right-hand side behind the handler. So the dog would heel on the left side, heel on the right-hand side, heel on the left-hand side, heel on the right-hand side. And the cue was given to go behind. So in your case, the way you would apply that, you would halt, the dog would halt slightly forged on the left-hand side. You would cue the dog, go back and around to the right-hand side, and the dog would get the cookie on the right-hand side. Can you see how that would inspire the dog to want to stay back a little? Now, having said that, the other thing it's going to inspire is butt out. So if you start seeing that, you are going to have to do a left pivot first. Now the dog is slightly forged. Now you're going to send them behind to the right-hand side for the cookie. Or you could reverse that. I don't know that it would matter. All right, who's next?
All right. Our next one is from Yay Culture. Let me pull up Yay's video.
There's a squirrel. I swear to God, today is like Grand Central Station. Everybody's bashing around the house. The squirrels are running around. The dogs are on the couch. When it rains, it pours. All right, let's see. That's very pretty. Nice. That was beautiful. That was really pretty. The only thing I would say is maybe it's time to start getting the food out of the left hand and making it a target. Then, since this dog is such a pretty little worker, ask the dog to jump up and touch your left hand straight down your side, and then reinforce wherever you want. It probably isn't going to matter in this dog's case. But start getting the food out of the left hand and making that a target rather than a cookie. But the work is beautiful. Your handling is nice. Your shoulders are straight. Really good work. Nice rear end awareness too. All right, who's next?
Excellent. We're humming right through these. The next one is Cynthia. And just as a heads up, we have Cynthia is one, and then we have after her submitted. So we're almost through our list.
All right, let's take a look. So this is a trial situation. So mostly what I focus on here is handling because there's nothing she can do about the dog. It just so happens the dog is doing a nice job. Beautiful handling. Did you notice there was a slight lag and the handler did not look back? She kept moving. That's exactly what you want to do. There's nothing else to do. As a matter of fact, if anything, even though it probably kills you, you'll actually want to speed up slightly to give the dog a reason. Nice. I feel a little hesitation on your right turns and your about turns, like you're going slow. Don't do that. That will make the matter worse. I know intuitively you're like, oh, gee, it gives my dog a chance to catch up. Really nice. I think that was handled very, very well. Okay, you have a couple of lags, and it's a trial. Life happens. I know it sounds weird. Speed up slightly when you feel them. With dogs that are prone to lagging at all, I tend to shorten my stride and increase my footfall. Because every time your foot hits the ground, it doot, 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 doot. It keeps the dog moving. So try out a metronome. Look at about 130, 132. Compare that to what you're doing. To me, the most important thing is you're in a trial. You get what you get, right? And you're handling really well, which I really like. Don't slow down on those about turns. Run with the metronome. Practice without your dog, and you're going to notice that when you get to the corners, that you fall way off your normal rhythm. Teach the dog you're going to move out no matter what, and I bet your dog is going to go, whoa, I didn't expect that, and is going to speed up with you. But I think you did a nice job there.
Excellent. The next one is from Donna.
That's fun. Fun for the dog to be able to catch up like that. I like that. And a hand touch in position before throwing the dog forward with the cookie. That's fine unless the dog starts to forge. If the dog starts to forge, then what you'll want to do is a little bit of forging there. So what I would do in that case, that worked. That was a fine option, what you just did. The other option would be hand touch in position and then throw the cookie to your left and slightly back. So think about that for a sec. What you're doing, the placement of the reward matters. The dog wants to be where the cookie's going to be. So I would suggest hand touch in position, maybe slightly behind heel position because your dog is slightly forged, and then throw the cookie to the left and back. So the dog has to turn away from you and run back to get the cookie. But I like that you've got a little light kind of gamey approach going on here. This is fun for your dog. That's nice. Nice work. All right, who's next?
Ready for this one? We did have a question come in. So Kim asked, using a metronome, what would be the setting you usually suggest?
Depends on the dog, but that one that she was just working, I set around 132 because I want her footfall up higher. If you have a dog who's kind of wound up, then you want to drop it a little bit. But just play around and decide what works best and videotape, videotaping is your friend.
So this last one is from Cindy, and she says, I like my dog's work, but my walking is so very stiff. Any hints to loosen me up or any other critiques?
Let's see what we have.
Go ahead and share hers.
This is the figure 8 exercise. You may go in either direction. Are you ready? Forward.
Look where you're going, Cindy. There you go. Now you have it. Maybe you were all along and I was just, this video is a little less high resolution. Man, that was pretty. Beautiful how the dog changes when you pull to the other direction. The dog pulls into position.
Good boy. Did you do good? Did you do good? Ask us.
I loved that from start to finish. I thought that was fantastic. I did not think you looked choppy. I didn't think your handling looked off at all. I thought you looked great. So I don't think I can help you because I didn't see the problem. So that's not helpful, is it? I think the dog's adorable.
So she said she was stiff. I don't know if that makes a difference.
I don't see it. I did not see stiff. I saw a nice engaged picture. Did anybody have questions about any of them?
Cynthia asked if there will be a recording of this. Cynthia, we are recording it, but I don't know what quality it will be, so I do not know if it will be available afterwards until we look at it. Any other
So it
questions,
sounds like
guys?
people are saying my audio is a little bit better than yours, Melissa. I don't know what would cause that, but I guess it's just something to note in these comments. All right, that's it.
Yep. All right, guys, I'm going to give you a survey. Oh, that's not my survey. Here's my survey. If you guys could answer these, that would be awesome. We would greatly appreciate it. It just gives us a little bit of feedback. I did not remember to include a question on what device type you were on. So if you guys can join us afterwards in the alumni group and share what device type you were on, that would be great. We're especially interested in people who are on phone and tablets and what your quality was, because the last time we did a test, we didn't have anybody watching who was on a phone, so we couldn't tell what the quality would be. So all right, so we're watching them come in here, and I'm going to give everybody a couple more minutes.
Sounds good.
25 votes, 27 votes, 19 votes. People are picking and choosing which questions they want to answer.
Huh? I'm reading through some of their comments here.
Gotcha. Okay. So Ella asked, how do you keep beat on the left turns if the dog's butt takes a long time to get in, like her Dane?
Wait, say it again. I was reading. I'm sorry. What's the question?
Sure. So Ella asked, how do you keep beat on the left turns if the dog's butt takes a long time to get in, like with her
You
Dane?
just I keep my feet moving on a spot until the butt is in, because your dog's just big. It's not a lack of effort at all. So that's how I do it. In a trial, you won't square your corners with a dog who's that big who can't move quickly. You'll round them slightly, but never in training. In training, I always square my corners. It's just an issue of speed.
Looks like everybody hasn't voted yet, so I'm going to give it another minute here on the quiz. We've got 31 responses out of 46 in, so we hope a couple more people will vote because this is super important. So Deb asked, how do you keep the tempo up on the turns practicing without the dog with the metronome?
Well, keep in mind that the metronome sets the cadence, not your speed. So I can march in one spot with the cadence at any number I want. You don't have to go anywhere. So if you get to the corner and you just want to march in place just to feel it, you can do that, right? But what you're going to find, I really like using a metronome for healing, because what I find is when you get to the corners, it will force you. You'll go, whoa, I didn't feel that, right? You'll realize you're falling off the metronome on the corners. So metronomes do an amazing job training handlers. Turn it on and see what happens, and you will discover that you will handle yourself on the corners and such a lot better. You can absolutely do all your corners with the metronome. You never have to fall off the metronome unless you change pace, right? So when you go into a fast, I would fall off the metronome. But otherwise, you pretty much should be able to stay on it. And if you're not, it's instant feedback to you. What do you have to do? You might have to shorten your stride on a corner, which is fine. If you do a pivot for the corner, which I do, I probably do shorten my stride a little bit. It is one place where I have some weird footwork when I get to my left corners. If you want to see that, let me think. If you go to thedogathlete.com and you go to free downloads, it's one of your choices, you'll find something called Healing Your Handling. Check that out, and you should see a PDF that includes videos of how I do my left turns, and there's some footwork stuff in there. I can't remember exactly. It's an old PDF, so I don't remember exactly, but I think it might help you with this issue.
So we've got 71% of people participated, just 33 of our 46 here. So I'm going to go ahead and close the survey and share the results, I think. That's for you, Denise.
It works for me.
Okay. I had to figure out how to share the results. I know we did it last time, so I know we can. Hey, what happened? They closed out all my answers. I don't know what it did. I hit close survey and it disappeared instead of, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at it. I don't know how to share my answers. All right.
We can share them on
Bring back up
Facebook.
our slide. Okay.
Thank you guys for doing
A
this.
couple questions. So watching on my phone, clumsy changes between streaming and YouTube. Blocks of garbled audio for Denise would be a great format if all worked. The format was great on a desktop. Deb said she just got the survey back. Andrea said I was choppy. And I don't know if that's because I'm not using my professional mic or if that's because of my connection.
You were
I
just
don't have my
choppy
plug
there.
in. I'm just using my built-in.
Oh.
Dale only saw the first 2 survey questions. Sue said I was choppy for her the whole time. Beth said she was watching on her phone and couldn't figure out how to watch the video and see Denise talking and explaining at the same time. Couple thank yous in there. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and move us over to Facebook. If you guys would join us over there, that would be wonderful. And we would welcome any additional feedback you guys have. Thanks so much for joining us. This is great.
Thanks, guys.